This is Dream Power Radio, the place where your dreams turn into reality. Here is your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman.
Welcome to Dream Power Radio. I'm your host, certified dream life coach, Debbie Spector-Weissman. This is a show where we talk about dreams, both daytime and nighttime dreams, and how you can use them to make the internal shift to a life you love. And as always, I am here to help you understand your dreams. So if you've got a dream that's got you stumped, email me at debbie@dreampowerradio.com. I can help you understand your dream or answer any questions you may have about dreams. So again, email me at debbie@dreampowerradio.com. Every once in a while, I'm going to be devoting an entire program to be talking just about dreams and all different kinds of aspects about dreams. Today's program is what I'm going to be calling Dreams 101. Some basics about how to remember your dreams. So if you're ready, let's begin. The first thing you have to know about remembering dreams is whether you're actually having dreams. And this is where we talk about sleep. As you know, we have most of our dreams in what's called the REM cycle of sleep. And we go through this stage of sleep, depending on how many hours you sleep, 5 to 6 times a night. The problem comes when you're one of these people who has trouble sleeping and maybe wakes up several times in the night. In that case, you may not be going through the REM cycle or maybe having an interrupted REM cycle. So that could be one reason why you're not remembering your dreams. If that's the case, you might be ripe for having a sleep study. And it may be worth your while to spend the time investigating this to see if there is a problem with your sleep pattern. There's another reason also that you might not be able to get a good night's sleep, which includes having the REM cycle for your dreams, and that may be because of a medication you're taking. There are a lot of medications on the market, including things like opioids, that actually suppress the REM cycle. And if you're suppressing the REM cycle, you simply aren't dreaming. So check with your doctor, and if you are taking a drug that is a REM cycle suppressant, you might see if you can substitute that for a different medication that could also help you. But with that out of the way, if you're not remembering your dreams, then there are other reasons to consider. One may be that you're simply not wanting to remember your dreams. A lot of people, they just dream naturally. They don't think about it. They've got dreams. They have vivid dreams. They have epic dreams. And it just comes naturally to them. For a lot of people, though, it's not quite that easy. Dreams can be very elusive. It's like catching a piece of dental floss in the air. You can do it, but it takes a little bit of effort. So I'm going to give you some tips about how to remember your dreams. The first tip will start way before you even get into bed. And that's about setting up your sleep space. One thing about dreams is they are sacred, and you have to believe they're sacred. And if they're sacred, then the place where you sleep also has to be sacred. So do what you can to make your bedroom perfect for dreaming. And what I mean by this is, for one thing, make sure that there's no clutter in your bed space. This is kind of one of the tenets of feng shui, to keep things uncluttered and clean and pure. So all the energy that you want to bring into the space is there, and it's not cluttered with unwanted things. So if you're on a night table next to your bed, keep it empty. The only thing that should be on your night table is a notebook and a pen so that you can write down your dreams. And we'll get into that a little bit later. Make sure if you've got all your clothes that are all picked up and put away, there's nothing else cluttering up your space. If you've got a TV in the room, definitely make sure it's off, and if possible, if it's in the eyesight of you when you're sleeping, see if you can cover it. Okay, another thing to be aware of in your bedroom is, believe it or not, mirrors. If you've got a mirror within eyesight of your bed, find a way to cover it up when you sleep. This too is believed to be just bad feng shui. And this is why mirrors reflect another being back at you. It doesn't promote good sleep by having an idea someone's watching you. Mirrors are also believed to deplete your energy. And here's another sort of crazy thing, but also kind of true. Some people have what's called sleep drunkenness. This is when your visual centers are not operating at 100% when you wake up from sleep. And when this happens, you can be startled by the reflection of yourself that you see at night. And you might, in that sort of hazy, awake state you're in, believe that someone else is looking at you. And who wants that? And here's one other little tidbit about mirrors. Some people believe that when we sleep, our soul leaves our body. And if the soul sees its own reflection leaving the body, it can get startled, leading to nightmares. Or if the soul sees its reflection on returning to the body, it might mistake the mirror image for your body, creating a property known as soul stealing. Well, you can believe this or not, but why take chances? So just find a way to make sure that you can cover your mirror at night. Another thing you can do to promote your dreams is in the area of scent, or as we say, aromatherapy. One of the scents that I love and what I use when I sleep at night is lavender, because lavender is one of the best scents to help promote healthy sleep. It has properties. It helps lower your blood pressure, your heart rate, and your skin temperature. And it even has an effect on your brain waves, putting them into a more relaxed state. But there are other essential oils that also have the same kind of effect. This includes bergamot, yuzu, yang yang, clary sage, jasmine, mugwort, and passion flower. So I invite you to investigate these and to try them out and see if any of these can help you get a good, healthy night's sleep. Another thing to investigate when thinking about getting a good night's sleep are supplements. Now, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not here to prescribe anything, but I can make you aware of some supplements that you can investigate. And so I invite you to investigate, check with your doctor or health professional, and see if they are supplements that they can use. These include melatonin, vitamin B6, valerian, magnesium, glycine, tryptophan, and ginkgo biloba. And then we come to your bed itself. Like I said before, dreams are sacred, and you should believe they're sacred. So make your bed a sacred space. And you can do this by pampering yourself. Buy the most expensive, delightful sheets you can. Make sure that they're soft, comfortable, and something that you really feel good having your skin against all night. Same thing with a nice, cozy, warm blanket and nice, fluffy pillows. And then we come to the state where now you're ready to go to bed. This is where you can do a lot of things to help you get to remember your dream. Okay, so now it's time to go to bed. And here's where you can set a declaration that you want to remember your dream. Why do we call it a declaration? Well, a declaration is a very, very strong, powerful word. It's more powerful than just saying, I want to remember my dream, or I have an intention that I'm going to dream tonight. Declaration is strong and powerful. I actually got this word from my mentor, Kelly Sullivan Walden, and I love the way she described it. As you know, we have the Declaration of Independence. Now, it's not called the intention of independence or I want to have independence. It's called a Declaration of Independence because that's the strongest statement you can make about it. So you do the same thing with your dream. You make a dream declaration, the strongest statement you can make about how I want to remember my dream. If you're new to this and you're not really in the habit of remembering your dreams, then start very simply. Just say, when you're just about ready to go to bed, I declare I'm going to remember one of my dreams tonight. And leave it at that. And I'm going to say this because I also have to be honest about this. The first time you do it, it may not work. Your body's just not used to remembering your dreams. So you have to do a little bit of brain training. But if you do this every night, if you say every night, I declare tonight I'm going to remember my dreams, do it over and over and over again, you're creating a new habit. You're creating new brain waves in your brain. And in time, you are going to remember your dreams. Now, if you are already remembering your dreams, you can take this dream declaration a step further. You can use it to actually get answers to specific problems or issues that you're dealing with. This is called dream incubation, which is basically getting answers to specific problems or issues. And here's a method on how to make this work for you. Step 1. Choose the right night for this. What I mean by this is that you need to get your mind and body prepared to dream. So it's got to be a night when you're not overly tired when you go to bed. In fact, I'm going to digress a bit here and say that sleep experts say you should regularly go to bed at least a half hour before you feel that tired drowsiness overcome you. That's because when you're overly tired, you might fall asleep quickly, but then you're just as likely to wake up in the middle of the night, disrupting your sleep cycles. And also, refrain from any alcohol or drugs that day. Alcohol and drugs are also sleep and dream depressants. If you drink right before you go to bed, you're just not going to remember your dreams. If you have any other kind of intoxicant right before you go to bed, you're not going to remember your dreams. If you do drink or if you do take other kinds of intoxicants, do it way, way before bedtime so that their effects have been diminished by the time you are ready to go to sleep. But on this day specifically, when you want to do a dream incubation, try to just refrain from any kind of intoxicant. You really want your body to be totally free. The next step is to take out your dream journal. Now, remember when I said the only thing to have on your night table is a journal? This is what I mean. The journal is where you will write down your dreams. And it should be something that is devoted specifically just to writing down your dreams. And again, taking the idea that your dream is sacred a step further. Don't just use like a scrap of paper or the back of an envelope or anything like that. Buy a really nice notebook or a nice journal. And they make so many beautiful ones out there. And get a really nice pen that you can use to write with. Now, you have your dream journal. Right before you go to bed, write down what happened that day. Not just the actions of what happened, but how you felt about them. It doesn't have to be overly involved, just, a line or two, like I did this and I felt this way about it. I did that and I felt this way about it. Simple, but the idea of writing it down also helps get your brain in that dream remembering state. Step 3 is to have an intimate talk with yourself. Because the goal of this dream that you want to have is to give you insights on how to solve a daytime problem, now's the time to focus on the problem. So, interview yourself about this situation. Ask yourself what you see are the causes of the problem. What solutions have you come with so far that haven't worked for you? And why haven't they worked for you? How are you feeling as you write all of this down? And here's another kind of tricky one. What secondary gains or benefits might you be receiving from not solving the problem? Truth is that some people get off on perpetual conflict. So ask yourself and really be as honest as you can. Do you really find an answer to the problem? Or does living with the problem feel safer than resolving it? For instance, what would you have to give up if the problem was solved? Does continuing the situation give you sympathy or some other secondary effect that you like? How would things be different if the problem was solved? If you're not seeking an answer to a problem, but instead seeking information or insight into something, ask yourself why you need this information and what you plan to do with it when you receive it. Go as far as you can with this. The more you use your conscious mind to focus on the issue, the more positive you can be of getting an answer to your dreams. Now we go to step 4. Go back to your journal and write down a one-line phrase or question that expresses the situation you want to explore. It could be something like, help me understand why I do X. Or, what's really going on in my relationship with Y? Do I want to continue this relationship or do I want to end it? Or, give me an idea for my next project. Whatever it is, be as specific as you can. The clearer your written declaration is, the clearer your dream will be. And then mark these lines with stars or underline it or highlight it to bring home the importance of this thought. Step 5. Now it's time to concentrate on this one-line phrase. Get into bed and keep repeating it over and over and over. If distracting thoughts start to enter your head, make an effort to just keep repeating and repeating this one-line phrase that you've come up with. The reason is that these thoughts are your conscious mind pulling you away from gaining solutions. Our conscious minds are tricky and they'll do whatever they can to really keep us from being and living our total dream lives. So it's something to be aware of. The preparations you've done so far, they're directed towards your subconscious mind. That's the part of your mind that's free of ego and judgments and expectations. That's the part of the mind that's going to be awake during your sleeping and dreaming time. And it's the part of your mind that you're feeding by doing all this preparation right before you go to sleep. And now we come to step 6. Time to go to sleep. When we're sleeping, like I said, our subconscious takes center stage. Our waking mind, the part of the mind that's actually in the prefrontal cortex of our brain, that part of our mind goes to sleep. And our subconscious, which is in the limbic system of our brain, that takes center stage. This inner self sees us more clearly and objectively than we do in our waking lives. So it's very likely you'll have a dream that gives you insights or solutions to what you've incubated in your pre-sleep ritual. The question is, will you remember this dream when you wake up? We're going to explore that when we get back. We're going to take a little break here, and we'll be right back. What could be more dreamy than a cruise to the mysterious and exotic Cuba? Join me in June for a luxurious 8-night trip on Royal Caribbean's Empress of the Seas. We'll taste the cuisine in Havana, dance to the music in the enchanting cities of Cienfuegos and Santiago de Cuba, and much more. For more information and to sign up for this unforgettable trip, email me at debbie@dreampowerradio.com.
Welcome back to Dream Power Radio with your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman.
Yes, welcome back to Dream Power Radio. I'm your host, Certified Dream Life Coach Debbie Spector-Weissman. and today we're talking about how to remember your dreams. When we left off, you were just about to go to bed and hopefully have dreams. So we're going to assume that you did have a dream. But, and here's again the elusive things about dreaming, you can have that dream and then have it still fly away from you unless you take some very concrete steps to make sure you remember it. Well, the last stage of sleep is called the hypnopompic state. And this is that brief moment when you're transitioning from the sleep state to the awake state. In dream work, we actually call this a bridge, and it's a very fragile bridge. So here's what to do when you reach this state and you have a dream in your mind. First thing to do is actually nothing. Don't move. Don't move a muscle in your body, because there's a link between your physical and your mental activity. Dreams lie in a very short-term memory, and any physical movement can result in that dream flying away forever. In fact, 90% of a dream is lost in the first minutes you're awake. So the way to capture it is to lie stock still. Repeat as much of the dream as you can to yourself over and over until you've transferred it into your long-term memory. But then immediately take your dream journal out and write down as much of the dream as you can. This step is extremely important. Even if you had one of those intense dreams that you feel you'd remember it forever without writing it down, in most cases you won't. Believe me, I've been guilty of this more times than I want to admit. There have been times I've had dreams that have been so detailed and so supposedly meaningful to me, I felt for sure I'd remember them as soon as I woke up in the morning. And I even told myself, I don't need to write this down. I'm going to remember it. But you know what? I didn't. 5 minutes later, it was gone for good. I mean, I remembered I dreamed, but all the details were missing. So, make sure you write it down. Now, when I say write it down, there are actually two different ways you can look at this also. I'm old school, so I actually prefer a real journal with a pen that I actually take out and scribble my notes on. I prefer that. But if you're more electronically minded, there are quite a few dream apps on the market that enable you not only to record your dream verbally, but will transcribe it for you. And they'll also put you into a community of dreamers. Choose what works best for you. But the important thing is choose something. Once you have the dream written down, especially if it's a dream that you had in the middle of the night and woke you up, it's okay to go back to sleep, because that was one of the many REM cycles that you have during your sleep time that you had. So go back to sleep. You may even have another dream that night. And if you do, you go through the same process again. Stay still until you can remember that dream, and then immediately turn around and write it down and record it. But here's another thing, I'm giving you a lot of information here, but don't feel that you've blown it if all you can write down are just fragments of the dream. One of two things might happen. When you wake up, those fragments could jog your memory into remembering more of the dream. Or you just might have those fragments, or what are also known as snippets. And that's okay too. Often that's enough on which to gain meaning and insight from a dream. And I'm going to give you an example of a snippet that actually changed my life. I wrote about this in the book Chicken Soup for the Soul, Dreams and Premonitions, which came out a couple of years ago and is still available. And it's a book that I encourage you to get, not only because you can read about my dream, but you can read about 100 other dreams that are incredibly fascinating and will also give you a lot of insight to the power of dreams. So this dream that I had, like I said, I only remembered a little snippet. but it was even less than a snippet. It was one word. But the word was so unusual that it really made me sit up. That word was codpiece. Yeah, it is a pretty unusual word, isn't it? And I wasn't really sure what it meant at the time, so I looked it up. For those of you who don't know, a codpiece was something that was invented in the Middle Ages, and it was a piece of leather that was actually used as a protection for a man's genital area. I thought this was kind of interesting, and also it became popular back in the 80s when a lot of heavy metal rockers would wear giant codpieces as part of their outfit when they went on the stage. So I thought, well, this is kind of interesting, but what does a codpiece have to do with me? But I was so struck by this, I said, I need to investigate this. So I started thinking about it. And the more I thought about it, I was really, for a while, just dumbstruck. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of 80s heavy metal rockers, so I didn't see the connection to that. I wasn't a big student of medieval history, so I wasn't sure where it pertained to me. Then I started thinking about, okay, well, what's the function of a codpiece? And when I thought about it, what came to mind was that a codpiece was something that was very hard and rigid, but it was used to protect something that was kind of precious. And I thought, well, how does that relate to me? And then I thought about it more and more, and I realized, that kind of described where I was at that stage of my life. I was quite a different person then than I am now. For actually most of my life, I was very, very quiet and very, very shy, and at times I actually felt invisible because I was never spoke up. People tended to not pay too much attention to me, and I realized that I had put a codpiece in front of me. I had put this big, rigid protection that was keeping me, which was the precious thing, from the rest of the world, in a sense. And that if I found a way to get rid of the codpiece, that more people could know about me, I could show myself to more people, I could become more involved with other people, and what could happen then? So I thought about that long and hard because this was like I said, a giant leap from where I was at the time. And the funny thing is, and this is again the funny thing about dreams, they just keep going and going. Because the next night I had another dream. And again, the only thing I could remember from it was one word. And that word was almond. And when I thought about that, I had to laugh because what's an almond? It's got a shell on it. But you open up the shell and you get this delicious, tasty, and nutritious nut that comes out of it. So I thought, wow, I guess I'm on the right track in thinking that that's what my dream is about. And it was a long process to go from that quiet, shy person who never spoke up to where I am now. And I'm never going to be the big, giant extrovert, ringing bells all over the place. I'm never going to be that kind of person. But I am more outgoing than I was then. And I wouldn't be doing this podcast if I was the same person I was back then. So that just goes to show you that a remembered dream can make a powerful difference in your life. So I encourage you, if you're not remembering your dreams, make a point of saying, these are important to me, I do need to remember them. And if you are remembering them, take my advice about the dream incubation steps and raise your dream to an even higher level. Check it out. I think you'll like it. I hope you've enjoyed this Dreams 101 exploration into how you remember your dreams. Until next time, sweet dreams, everybody.
You've been listening to Dream Power Radio with your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman. For more information on Debbie or to sign up for her newsletter, go to dreampowerradio.com. This has been Dream Power Radio on the amazing Women and Men of Power Network, the world's leading positive programming network, powered by Raven International.